Welcome, finalists, to episode 10 of The Vault. I am Waltz, as always, joined by my co-host Rio. How's it going, Rio?
It's going wonderful today. And today's episode is sponsored by Booze. Pop, pour, perform.
And today we have a very, very special guest with us. We have JFJ, a very popular, fantastic YouTuber that does a lot of videos for the game, among other things, but Finals is something that you have done a lot of. Can you give us just a quick introduction and kind of a little bit about yourself real quick, JFJ?
Pop, pour, perform. Did I get it?
A little bit delayed, but it's okay.
Ah, nuts.
But yeah, just kind of a little bit about yourself, kind of basically who are you in the scene, and kind of what do you do? Just kind of give us a quick overview.
Okay, so I'm pop pouring and performing right now.
Yes.
That's what I'm doing.
Yes, and you should continue to do that because the Booze is 100% the way to go.
I am the #1 biggest light hater in the world. I don't care what gets nerfed as long as light doesn't receive buffs. That's where all my popularity has come from. As long as light understands that they're awful and I hate them, and I am glad that the repeater two-shots them. We are in the best version of this game.
Amazing.
Nice.
And yeah, I have seen you picking the repeater a lot.
I play it sometimes. That too.
Oh yeah, I've seen a little bit of that. I have seen you play a lot of repeaters, so I'm looking to dig into that. But of course, Rio, first, we do want to real quick kind of cover some of the events happening before we jump into the meat and potatoes of this interview.
Yeah, so we recently have had a couple of Pro League events. We had day 1 and 2, so last Wednesday and then Saturday we had both the EU side and the NA side kind of going up against it, and it was really just tons of fun. All of the teams kind of came together and clashed. It was a cash out format, so 4 teams all in one, lots of third teaming, a couple of double stacking the cash outs at the end, but really just some of the top tier teams kind of getting at it. And we don't have kind of a bracket, or we're not going to go through the top standing teams because it's all dynamic. It's all changing basically every time that we have another play day. So if you want more information and you want to see kind of where the current teams are standing, check out prohubs.tf, and it'll give you the latest up-to-date stuff. And with that, we do have the upcoming events, and the first one is just more Pro Hubs. We have more Pro League games coming up, and it'll be this Saturday. We have Play Day 3 and 4, so we actually have Wednesday and Saturday games coming up this next week, and that'll continue. We have a break the next week, but then they'll continue on after that. Now, if you want to see the full calendar and everything, just go again to prohubs.tf. But there's one more upcoming event, Waltz, that you will be covering, so let us know.
So I'm going to be hosting what I'm calling the Club Clash. I'm going to take a couple creators. I'm going to pit their communities against each other. They're going to face off for a couple hours, play a bunch of games, and see which club is the best. It's something I'm going to try and do a lot more as we move forward. Actually, this is kind of version 1 with Akazo and Young, so we're going to see where that goes. And JFJ actually expressed some interest in this one as well. So I'm hoping we can get him and his community in future, because he has a fantastic community. And so, speaking of JFJ, let's jump right into this, and so getting to know you a bit, because obviously you do have a quite a large community. I know you do a lot of custom games in the file, so kind of let's start right at the beginning. When did you first find out about the finals, and what was your first kind of interaction with it?
I'm glad you asked. See, I was pop pouring and performing that entire time that I was playing. The first time, so the context, there's a lot of history behind what I enjoy about the finals, and the first time that really clicked with me. Mm-hmm. I am a big fan of Battlefield. Yeah. I am a big Battlefield fan, and the fact that 2042 was abysmal, was terrible, it breaks my heart a lot. So to see that there was an entire company made up of the people that made my childhood and adolescent years so perfect, I wanted to give it a shot. Now, when I first played, I didn't. It was ugly. The skins were fine. That didn't bother me, and I still have this opinion, sort of, to now. I guess DD kind of fixes it a little bit, but the player models were just hideous. But I realized that if I'm not seeing them, I don't really care, because everybody's wearing a mask. And then the one thing that made me click, that just so you know how Soul has the construction at the center of the top as a variant?
Yeah.
Somehow, some way, I don't remember how, the cash out had fallen off of the construction site and landed in the little alley between the apartments and the skyscraper.
Yeah.
There were 6 people there from Quick Cash, and I was playing heavy, and this was the closed beta charge and slam, so it did a lot. And I landed and I killed all 6 people with one slam. And it was at that moment it clicked, like, this is the greatest game I have ever played. And then I looked into the creative director. He worked on every Battlefield until he left. He worked on Payday 2, and he worked on Dirty Bomb. And I love Dirty Bomb.
Nice.
And that was the part where I just realized, like, this is going to be my favorite game. And so far,
Oh my God.
after 1,300 hours later, it still is.
Wow. That's awesome. And yeah, 1,300 hours, you actually have more than me and probably more than Waltz, just probably a little bit. But I just reached 1,000, so that's awesome. And yeah, I definitely had a lot of faith in the game when I heard of the studio and who was behind it. And yeah, it has definitely lived up to that hype, at least in that regard. And just the destruction for me, like I wanted a game with like good destruction. The last good one, my opinion, was like either Battlefield 4 or the one that they had the whole skyscrapers that would fall down. That one was wild, so it was cool to kind of get into a game that, like, you know, you could just blow everything up. But yeah, we've seen that you've done a lot of finals content, and has that really kind of helped your channel grow? Did you find more following? Did it really kind of help your channel at all, or is it hurting it maybe? I don't know. What's your opinion on
No, it's
your finals
terrible for
content?
growth. It's absolutely awful. That's not a joke.
Really?
It's shocking. It really is. I don't know what my average is. I don't pay attention to the numbers much, but if you live by the numbers, you will just be depressed forever. And the big thing is, I love the finals. I have a lot of fun playing it. I love streaming it. I love making videos about it. I'm trying to talk to Dusty to let me animate in first-party models with them.
Really?
And
Ooh.
they're taking their time because I think I break the EULA when I ask that. But they're not doing anything wrong. But no, I have no idea what it is. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know if Call of Duty is just like sacrificing a goat to make this happen.
Yeah.
Streaming the finals, making content on the finals, nets you nothing.
Yep.
It is really difficult to get anybody to watch anything about that game. You can be the funniest dude or the best damn shot ever. No one watches it. And it blows my mind because I hate Twitch a lot. And I don't watch streamers, but I will actively go to Twitch and find people playing the finals because I want to see. I learned that you could put a jump pad on goo from watching somebody on Twitch do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like there's so much cool stuff that you can do by interacting with the community, and no one knows that at all.
Do you have an idea of why? Even a guess? If you were to throw one out there?
Toxicity. I hate to say the word because it's dumb, but there's no other word for it. You see people that are like Ruby players or at the top or whatever, do the best that they can. But then you look and watch them and you go, okay, what are they doing? Meta loadouts. They're playing like crazy. They're yelling at their friends. I'm guilty of that. I hate doing it, and I do it. But that's just because I'm very competitive. But people yell at their friends. People yell at lights. People yell at mediums. They yell at heavies. People get upset. And, like, it's funny when people get mad in Call of Duty because there's nothing to get mad at. Like, oh, yeah, he's got a riot shield. Oh, that's okay, whatever. The riot shield in the finals sucks. I love it. But the idea of, oh, I can't wait to watch this guy play this game that I know nothing about. Is he having a fun time? And you watch him, it doesn't seem like he's having a fun time. It sounds like he's yelling the whole time.
It just seems like he's miserable.
Because that's me. I do that. The minute a triple stack Ruby light team shows up, I start getting mad.
Nothing quite as aggravating as.
And it's not the viewers' fault. They've done nothing wrong, but they have to understand that it's a competitive game. People get heated, but They don't know that. They just see a dude that's put 1,000 hours into a game he hates.
Yeah. Do you think
This
in
is really
general?
interesting.
Yeah. Do you think the game tends to, just by the nature of sort of the class system, do you think it tends to incite a lot of people? Do you think it's a frustrating game sometimes to play? Do you think that's just inherent with the game, or do you think that's part of maybe the community and, like you said, sort of the visible people, at least early on, that we sort of saw that had that negative attitude towards the game?
If you're asking legitimately what I think is an issue with the finals in terms of its growth,
Yeah.
if that was the question, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a fair. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
If you want like a real actual answer, it's light, and it's not like, yes, I hate lights. Duh, that's a skill issue. I'm willing to admit I can't hit shit. That's fine. I am not going to sit here and go, I'm the best, and everybody needs to acknowledge that. No, I'm a really bad shot. I just have good game sense, and I like the game. But
Sure.
new players, it's not a skill issue if a new person joins the game. They're new. Being new and having low skill are two separate things. New players are going to show up. They're going to go, okay, I think I understand how the game works. And then they were going to get sniped from over 30 meters away by an MP5 or an LH1. And then they're going to figure out why. And they're going to go, oh, why is the flank class sniping me? Why is the flank class doing this much damage to me? Why can't I hit the flank class? The flank class is supposed to be get in, deal a lot of damage, get out. Or get in, kill somebody, get out. But he's not built that way right now. He has everything, and it's frustrating to new players. It's frustrating to me. I can kill lights, but sword lights don't give a shit. They don't care. The issue I have with this game is there is no way to help new players. New players should never want to just jump into ranked. There's no skill-based matchmaking or any matchmaking whatsoever in the casual modes. People that just started are going to go up against level 80s like yours truly, and I'm going to stomp them. But then me, who's a level 80, is going to go up against a level 90, and that they're going to stomp me. And then it's going to be worse if a new player meets a level 90. They're going to lose. And then there's the VR system. VRs are rewarded through time played. And quick cash and casual matches are short. So they're not going to get enough VRs to try new things and get new stuff easily. They're just going to show up, get dominated, not know why, and then they're going to leave.
Yeah, no, I think that you actually have hit on some really interesting points, because I've had a few friends that have tried it out and it didn't click for them. Either I think just throwing them directly into quick cash kind of is weird, because like I had a friend that, did a tutorial and then he's
that
like,
should
okay,
be the first thing every player tries first is quick cash.
Yeah.
And quick cash is a terrible way to explain the game.
Exactly, and that's what I mean.
Cash out
Yeah,
is better.
Yes, it makes more sense in a cash out format, and then quick cash, they just didn't understand what was going on. And then I think you're right too, throwing lights in the mix from like a high ranked player, like we all hate it. Somebody comes in there with a sword and you can't even see them, get it on them, tracking them. Yeah, I think that could be exponentially worse for
new players.
New
New players are not bad. They are new. They are not going to try to learn how to counter a class that looks like they have no counter. Light, if you can track him, is a joke. You will just dominate him. You will kill him if you have over 90% accuracy. I have 1,300 hours. I don't have 90% accuracy. I still have a problem with lights. And I admit that is a skill issue. But I have learned as time goes on that there are ways to counter them, and that is what the reserve is for. New players are going to show up, realize, hey, wait a minute, this SMG has more bullets than every medium rifle and does more damage than every medium rifle at every distance with less recoil, a faster reload, and less margin of error. And they're going to go, wow, this fucking sucks.
There's definitely a lot to... I agree. I think the new player experience, especially
it's
with
not
how
hard
slow
to
you
shoot
get stuff.
heavies and shoot mediums. It's hard to shoot lights.
It's hard to track. It could be so difficult. And one thing I've noticed you've done a lot of is you do a lot of community nights with... and maybe nights, maybe it's not nights for you, it's often nights for me, but I know you do a lot of community streams and games with your community, a way to manage the experience a little bit. Have you found that has that been a way for you to introduce new players? Have there been people that have come in and experienced the game for the first time in your community streams? Has that been something you found? Has that been a better experience for them overall?
The one thing that we do is we try to let anybody that can show up, but the thing is, few people show up to finals content, and they don't always fill up. And because of the bugginess of the spectator feature, sometimes it can be a little daunting. But if anybody new shows up, we usually just let anybody come and show up and have a good time. I don't know if it's a better way to explain how the game works, though, or to be fair to them, because there's no stress. Every game, like when you play a private match, you just do whatever you want. And in fact, I have rules on my private matches that make them a lot more fun.
Yeah.
In powershift, I will stand by, I will argue, I will yell, I will debate. Powershift is the best mode in the game, in the finals. I love powershift. Powershift is dope as hell. Yeah. And I hate to sound like a broken record, but there is one class that ruins it. The minute a sniper light, an LH1, a bow, any of that shows up, it becomes a fucking travesty to try to play that mode. So what I do is, you can't bring the sniper rifle and the LH1. Everything else is totally okay. And you know what? We have a blast. You can't bring the pike either. But because the Winchester's new, you can bring that too. But I usually just let everybody, like, if you just limit, I truly believe that the finals is a joy in close quarters. And powershift is a game mode about close quarters. Everything has playstyle, everything has counters. Like, I hated the APS because it can do whatever. Like, data reshaper exists, my man. It was never a problem ever. The gun in your hand also counters it, but people didn't want to think that. But regardless, I don't think new people getting into private matches first is the best way to make them learn. Trial by fire is a big deal in shooters. You need to understand, you need to get your ass whooped to figure out how to not in the future. That's the best way to make it work.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that you really touched on a lot of points, and it's cool to see that you are doing community stuff. I know that Waltz has done a lot of stuff. He recently did an event that was melee only. So kind of putting in those restrictions can make the game more fun.
One of the best restrictions that we have, which is just a joy, is the previously removed Banquet. We play Banquet, but we have one rule. You cannot deposit unless you individually have $40,000.
Oh, that's really cool.
Whoa, that would have been so much fun.
Not your team. Your team doesn't, like, as a team between 3 people, 40 grand. No, you must make the game-winning deposit in one deposit.
Oh,
and
that's
so wild.
let me tell you, it is terrifying to have the whole server chase you because you have enough to win, and if you die, you're screwed.
That is amazing.
Wow.
I am going to have to try that because that's
a very, very fun
incredible
way to do the game. We tried melee only, but it was mostly just like a bunch of heavies with spears and flashbangs just jumping on the point.
Yeah, I'll have to run that because I'm pretty sure Banquet is still in custom matches, which
it is still in privates. Yes,
yeah.
Nice.
So it'd be nice to try that out. That's really cool. I would love in the future one day to be able to add even more rules to custom matches and actually create our own custom modes, which I know will probably take some time with them, but that sort of thing does. The sandbox of the game is so unique, and being able to kind of build your own game modes on top of that, I think the game, so many game modes can fit into the final sandbox, which is really cool. And so like when you're playing the game, I know you like the repeater a lot. You've spoken about that. Are there any loadouts? Like what loadout do you go to when you're really like? Not like when you're trying to sweat, but what are some of your favorite loadouts? What do you like to play? Obviously not light, I assume.
I only play light if a contract tells me to. The only achievement in the game I don't have is win 150 games as light.
Me too.
I mostly play medium. I can play heavy very well, but I mostly do medium. I like, even since Bad Company 2, I have always been a support player. I like to help my team. But for some reason, Embark keeps nerfing all of the support stuff for medium. Yeah. And all the stuff that they're adding to support doesn't really have... It has too much counterplay with not enough interplay, if that makes sense. What I like to run is the revolver, the dematerializer, if not defibs, then motion sensor, bounce pad, and then goo grenade. That's okay. I run that all the time. The problem I have with demat instead of like heal gun is that demat is so overpowered.
Right.
It is. It is
so strong.
I love it and I like using it, and it was what medium needed. But now that the game has progressed and evolved in the way it is shockingly too good. I would be fine if, and I mean this, it is really going to burn to say, I would be fine if medium got rid of demat, brought back a new reworked recon sense.
Okay. That's a bold choice, but you know, going off of what you were saying about demat, like we had a Ruby grind event 2 weeks ago, and the team that won, they're beamers, and they actually ran 2 mediums with demats, and what really worked out for them is that they were just able to just have traversal just better than anybody else. They also ran a sledge heavy, so like any wall they could just get through. So yeah, I am starting to kind of lean on, like, it's definitely a little OP, and we are seeing it in competitive play that it's just kind of people don't want to use the healing beam. So yeah, that's you might be right, but why recon sense? Why bring aim hacks? Not aim hacks. Aim hacks would be way worse. Wall hacks into the game.
Oh, I very specifically said a reworked recon sense.
Okay, well, what's your rework then?
The recon sense from season 1 was way too good. It needed to go.
Oh, yeah, it was crazy.
Way too good. What didn't need to go was light take all of my fucking recon gadgets, and then heavy gets one, and it's like, why didn't medium's a support class? Why is he not getting something to help people find out? I don't get it. They could have left him with the sonar grenade or the tracking dart. I would have been fine. But no, light had 2, heavy had 1, and medium had none for 2 seasons straight. That was annoying, but not the point. Recon sense, I would want it to be close range. I would want it to be a form of, not necessarily a wall hack, but a scanner. It would be basically, if you are standing in this very obvious... It also gives the medium's location away. If you were standing in this very obvious circle, then the medium can see you and his allies can see you. But you can also see the medium. Alternatively, I'd be okay if it was just a pure support ability, like a recon drone. Yeah. You throw it out, and it rolls around, and it scans enemies when it rolls around.
Interesting.
Or the one that I suggested back a year ago, just Bloodhound. Just Bloodhound from Apex. You take a screenshot through a wall, and if there's an enemy there, it tags them.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot. That'd be a really neat way to change it, is instead of having it be this constant thing.
I do not want wall hacks because that's not fair. That's just bullshit. Yeah. What I want is, hey, I can't find these enemies, and I want to assist my team to find them, and I'm okay with that because I love motion sensor. It is ridiculously good, and with demat, it's even better. But I would be a-okay with swapping demat for something that helped me find enemies easier. Yeah. I don't want to find them on the other side of the map or just do it instantly. I mean, I want there to be trade-offs and counterplay and interplay and intuitiveness. Sure. But demat, there's no counterplay because they just push a button and it immediately opens up. At least with a sledgehammer heavy, if they open up a wall, hey, the heavy just broke the wall, and I know this is happening. Meanwhile, the demat is instant, and there's no way for anybody to figure out that you're doing that. And it also helps you protect the cash out better than anything else. You can steal the cash out. I want medium to lean more into a support role. I would love that.
Yeah. No, I agree, and it does make more sense that they would be kind of the support center. They're supposed to be the heart of the team, and yeah, I think having some kind of ability to call them out. I didn't play a lot of Apex, but the that one that you mentioned of like taking a snapshot through a wall, that sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
It seems very like non-intrusive, and
Yeah, I
like,
love
that. Yeah, I guess continuing on reworks, what are your thoughts on the Vegas rework that we just got?
I never liked Vegas.
Okay.
I had colorful words to say about Vegas. There were very few instances of cash out locations that made me feel safe. I will say the rework is better. It is much better. I like what they've done. I still don't like Sandstorm. So no matter what happens, I still don't like it. I remember when they took it out, they said, "We reworked it." No, you didn't. It's the same map. You just brought it, you put it back in. Vegas, objectively speaking, it's better. It's way better than it was. It's still Vegas. That's the problem. Is that it is still Vegas.
It feels different than I think most of the other maps in the game, right? Like it just kind of is.
I am
different in a very
still
specific way.
upset that we did not get a new map. And to anyone that ever says, "Well, no, they can't make a new map every season," yes, they can. I'm not saying that this stuff is easy. Being a game developer is very difficult. I understand that wholeheartedly. What I'm saying is, every location in this game, except, oh my gosh, 3? Yeah, 3 are real places that you can go to. They are real. The cathedral in Monaco is a real place that you can go to. And I'm not saying it's hard or easy to replicate and model a real 3D place. I'm saying they didn't make it from scratch. And Skyway Stadium is Monaco and Seoul in the same map. And Fortune Stadium is a bunch of other pieces of furniture that have been used from other maps as well.
Yeah.
Not all of them. But to say that, no, we can't get a new map. Yeah, we can. We can get a new map. The new players, if they don't want to spend money on the game, have the new weapons to look forward to. That's great. New gadgets, new specials to look forward to. That's great. They also have maps. If you don't offer a new map, you're taking away things that potentially could attract new players because cosmetics are not content. Just end of the line. I love playing dress up just as much as the next guy. I have spent $3,100 on the finals, and I will spend more. And I'm here to tell you that cosmetics are not content. Battle passes are not content. None of that stuff is content. When you rework an old map, great. That's awesome. That is not a new map. I don't care how well you rework it.
Do you worry that there's ever a point where there are too many maps and
Never.
people don't know how to? Because learning the maps is I think harder in this game than it is in games like Call of Duty.
No. The greatness about having a lot of maps is you will always be on your toes. There's always something that you're probably not prepared for, and it's just interesting to boot for just from the get-go. If we truly reach a point where there's too many maps and there's only 7, then we are not doing well.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Do you have a favorite map then, or like a set of maps that you really
love
enjoy?
Sis Horizon. I love it. I have no idea why nobody does. I think Sis Horizon is awesome, but one map that nobody seems to hate is Fortune Stadium, and I love Fortune Stadium so much. I remember when Season 4 dropped, I was freaking out because Season 3 almost made me drop the game, but Season 4, and then I saw that Holto building and how they were leaning into the game show aspect. It was perfect.
So good.
So Fortune Stadium is just my number one, but I love Sis Horizon just as much.
Well, yeah, no, it's actually funny because Sis Horizon is actually the most commonly picked map in the competitive scene. They actually really like it because it's just kind of balanced. There's no real open areas outside of that one like park area.
Other than the main road and the Zen Garden.
Yeah,
exactly, the Zen Garden. Yeah, and so it just makes for a really unique map. And on top of that, it was the only map in the beginning, like when we were starting the scene, that didn't have any variance to it. So everybody in the competitive side just didn't have to worry about it. So it was always picked, and it's still picked today. But that kind of leads me to one of our questions: is have you followed any of the competitive scene in the finals? Do you know what's going on? Are you aware of anything? Any reason, or you just kind of haven't been exposed to it, not interested? What do you think?
Ranked is dumb.
Fair enough.
I play games for fun.
Yeah.
That is one of the things that I think people have really connected with, because I know it's like the videos definitely are maybe don't get as much, but one of the things I did really appreciate is that all of you really focused around the fun side of the game.
Let me tell you what I have seen. And now, no disrespect to any of the people I'm about to name, because I follow them on Twitter and I like them and I watch them sometimes. I see videos from all sorts of people. That French fella, Atelco, cool guy, great guy, nothing negative, boring as hell to watch because he just goes into ranked with the same loadout every damn time. I go into ranked to get my diamond skins at the end of every season. Same loadouts every damn time. Same gadgets, same specials, same stuff. There is never any variation, and it is boring as hell. I want to bring the revolver. Why would I ever do that when the F car is better? I want to bring the riot shield. Why would I do that when the F car is better? Why would I ever bring the KS-23 when the SA-12 exists? Why would I ever bring the M60 when the SA-12 exists? Why would I ever do this when the SA-12 exists? It is so freaking boring to watch competitive players pretend that they're the top of the line in this game when they have one weapon they know how to use. Just one. When I used to play, I played in the season 5 preview a long time ago, and I went up against Belize and his 3-stack, and Belize is not a very nice guy, but whatever. No disrespect to him. Hey guys, are we going to try the new weapons? No. Lewis gun, F-car, F-car. Wow, that's so much fun,
That'll
fellas.
happen.
I'm so glad I was forced to join this preview against you and win every single time, you boring idiots! Competitive is boring. Until the weapons get into a better balance state, or whatever, I legitimately don't think this game is esports ready in the slightest. Why would I ever try anything? It's the same thing with CSGO. As much as I want to say that, like, or Counter-Strike 2, whatever it's called, as much as I want to say, oh yeah, no, the dream hack for Counter-Strike is so cool. Oh wow, everybody brought AKs because it's the best gun in the game and it has been for a decade now. It's so boring. You get me a competitive scene where everybody brings melee, I'll watch it. You bring me a competitive scene where everybody brings revolvers, I'll watch it. I don't give a damn about the same stuff over and over. It's FCAR, it's FAMAS, that's it. I never see people bring, I don't know, dual blades, and to their credit, dual blades are terrible. They're so bad.
Well, Waltz, you want to talk about some of the teams that we just had? Because we're kind of seeing a shift from that. I think that it's fun. I mean, just to give you a little background, like Waltz and I have been in the competitive side since it started. Like we were doing this back as soon as we got custom games. There was kind of a scene growing. And you're right, up until maybe the start of even this season, and Waltz, correct me at any point, it really did feel like the meta was very stale. And this is somebody that has cast 30 plus events, and it was very stale. But we are seeing people bring sledge heavies. We are seeing people run revolver. We are seeing people, I don't know, what are some of the weird stuff that we've seen, Waltz?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a mix. So we've seen people running the ARN, the XP.
Yeah.
I've even seen, I saw Sword in a couple events. So we're starting to, and I agree. I think it is, you don't want to be in a situation where people are running the exact same thing every time. I think that's boring, and it works for Counter-Strike, but not, this game isn't Counter-Strike, and it's very clearly not Counter-Strike because Season 3
absolutely
went so poorly, right? Like that's obviously not the approach people want in this game. And they want something different, and they want more. And I think we are starting to see that with the balance changes they've made over time. And I agree. I think it's tough to look at the very, like, when you're watching, like, kind of the Twitch streams and stuff like that, the top players do tend to sort of, they're going for just the tiniest possible advantage every single time, and I think that's why you see other people that
you bring up a great point, my man. And you know what? Let's take 4 more bullets from the AK again. Let's just go ahead and do that.
that's what we need to do.
Let's take 4 more bullets off of it. It doesn't need him.
We just need to add more self-damage to the CL40, I think, and then we'll fix
Oh,
the meta,
my
right?
god!
No.
It got buffed, and it was fine!
Yep. No, I'm a big CL40 enjoyer, and I mean, do you like it this season? Because I actually
No!
do. No?
It's the same thing!
It's slightly
the
better.
Same gun. It's self-damage. There is no reason you should be able to do that much freaking self-damage to
I
yourself.
know.
It's absurd.
I just run into people. As soon as I see them running it, I just run directly in their face because I know that they're going to kill themselves before they can kill me. And yeah, it works a lot of the time. But
I had so many people begging me, how do I counter the CL40? I will now show it to you. And I walked up to him. Wow!
Yep.
It's been my firm belief that there are some weapons that are not allowed to be good because people know when they die to that weapon. It happened back when throwing knives was briefly very strong, and I feel because like when you die to throwing knives, you hear the throwing knife sound. You know that it was a throwing knife. If you die to a bow, you know it's a bow. If you die to a CL40, you know it's a CL40. But if you die to an AK, you can't really tell if it was an AK or an FCAR when you're taking the bullets, or if it was a Lewis gun or an M60, or if it was an XP. And I feel like some of these guns, because they're unique and because people know what they died to, they focus on those more. And so those weapons just don't get to be as powerful because everybody, it's like it sticks in their mind when they die to a CL40. They hear the explosions go off, and all of a sudden that's what they remember, I think. And I think that's why some people tend to focus on those weapons, and those weapons don't get their time in the sun as much as others might.
Well, hot take about the CL40, and I like it because I set off gas mines with it, and I love it.
Yeah.
I think it is so fun. It needs to go away because Embark doesn't like it. And what should we replace it with? The KS-23 needs to go to medium.
Oh.
You actually think for a second that I don't know what I'm talking about, but believe me, I am a genius. The KS-23 does 100 damage.
Yeah.
The CL-40 does 100 damage. But the CL-40 is harder to use because you have to land a direct hit.
Yep.
Guess what also needs to land a direct hit? The KS-23. Why even bother at this point? You obviously don't want it to be an explosive weapon. You've nerfed the AoE 4 times, and then you keep nerfing it. I have a clip. I shot a light at 2 HP, got a hit marker, and it didn't kill him.
I have had that happen.
The
You're speaking
weapon
my language.
is not like they're just straight up. They don't want it to be an explosive weapon because it, quote, upsets lights. It's hard to shoot lights with it. And even though it used to do 110 and it does 100 now, that is still a 2-shot direct hit to light, no matter what. That hasn't changed. But it was the lights that got it nerfed because of the minimal amount of AoE damage it was doing. It wasn't that good in Season 4. It was just usable. So people got pissed at it. If your argument is, what if there was a team of 3 of them? Every weapon in the game is ridiculous. You could have a team of 3 spears and 1 smoke bomb, and that's the strongest weapon in the round.
Yeah.
It's going to be that way. So at this point, if you don't want medium to have an explosive grenade launcher, just give him the KS-23. They're the same damn thing.
Yeah, I mean, as a KS-23 main, I would actually love to see that. Yeah, wow. JFJ, this has been great. We've really kind of dug into your mind. You have some really hot takes on the finals, and
Love it.
we appreciate you getting them out there. But kind of before we wrap this out, anybody you want to kind of shout out? Anybody, that you want to give a shout out to?
Pop, pour, perform.
Pop, pour, perform. I agree.
That Riot to Diamond fellow's cool.
He is. Riot to Diamond is fantastic. You should absolutely, if you're watching this, you should check out Riot to Diamond. We'll drop a link down in the description. He does, absolutely, he runs the Diamond. He runs off meta stuff, has customs. Fantastic. Exactly what we're talking about. He really brings kind of the fun into the game.
Awesome. Well, and then the last question is, how can people, if they don't know who JFJ is, how can they find you?
I don't know.
We'll have some links so people can find you down in the description. But we do really appreciate you coming on, JFJ. It was really great to talk with you. Hopefully you're able to pop, pour, and perform a little bit more later, because I've been enjoying the chat and how it's been going. But thank you, everyone, for watching. That's going to be it for this episode of The Vault. So stick around for next time. We'll see you soon.